Hey everybody, Zach again, newtutorial.com, coming in, making a video for you today. I'm going to go ahead and put this on YouTube and just, demonetize it myself. Hopefully they won't delist it, keep it from coming up in people's feeds. They may do that, who knows, but I really don't care. I'll share it on Facebook or wherever, and too many other websites. I had a lot of you guys tell me that TruthStream did not work, too much buffering, people couldn't even view the video. Brighteon, you had buffering issues over there. There are so many companies out there right now trying to do what YouTube is doing, and the reason is it's because so many people are very upset at how YouTube is censoring things. And so again, nature abhors a vacuum. If people want something, there will be people out there who will find a way to give people what they want. So that's what you see happening right now. There's lots of different companies out there trying to do what YouTube is doing and come up with something that works. And so something will eventually take, guaranteed. Let's go ahead and start with the news. I'm going to get into a number of articles here today. This one, saw this morning as I woke up, came out June 2nd. That was 2 days ago. I saw it on my Facebook feed. It says, Orthodox Jewish extremist crashed a Messianic gathering in Jerusalem over the weekend. According to eyewitnesses that spoke to Israel Today, dozens of religious Jews rallied in front of the entrance to the pavilion event hall in downtown Jerusalem to block local believers from attending an annual concert of new Hebrew language worship songs written over the past year. It says, they wouldn't let us enter. I was pushed aside violently, said Professor Gideon, a Messianic Jew and Dean of the School of Sciences at Tel Aviv Academic College. There were families with small children, and the religious were pushing and cursing, Gideon said. The children were very frightened. Many were crying. Police eventually arrived at the site, but the Messianic group refused to leave. The screams and shouts continued as police led the Messianics into the auditorium through a side emergency door. In the end, we managed to praise God with the new Messianic songs. Susanna Mark, a Messianic Jewish soldier in the IDF, told Israel Today. We prayed for the Orthodox, who continued screaming throughout the concert. When the concert was over, the police had to escort us out the side door in order to avoid any more violence. Among the protesters, Messianics were surprised to find Benzai Gufstein, who member of the Municipal Council of the Jewish settlement of Kiryat Arba and director of Lehava, I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of that right, folks, a right-wing religious group. So horrible. Right-wing religious groups. Israel Today contacted Gufstein, but has yet to receive a response as to why he chose to join the disruptive and anti-Messianic protest. I mean, that answer is obvious. We came together to sing songs and worship God, Professor Gideon said. We weren't disturbing anyone. They believe differently than us, but why do they feel that they have to disrupt us with such belligerence? What they did is illegal and they should be arrested, he said. If someone in the government would stand up to them, there might be a chance of stopping these kinds of harassments. Gideon continued, but there isn't, and the religious institutions in Israel are extremely powerful. We asked Gideon if he thinks Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu should be giving so much power to the religious parties in Israel in order to form his new government. I stay away from politics. The professor smiled. No comment. So, lots of interesting discussion, comments in this article for sure. Guys, this just comes down to, it's so simple. It is so simple. Guys, what you're seeing here is two house, okay? It's two house. This is what the Messiah described in the prodigal son, in the parable of the prodigal son. You have the older brother who's in the house. He's with dad. He has the Torah, as Jacob prophesied in Genesis, where it said, Judah, the scepter will not depart from him. The lawgiver will always remain between his feet. He shall be the protector and the keeper of the law. Okay, that's Judah's role in all of this. And the people who say that this is not Judah, you're absolutely insane. The Jews have always kept the Torah. That's how you know that this is truly Judah over there, and they hold the Torah. They have always held the Torah. They have always guarded the Torah. And yes, sometimes they are extremely wrong when it comes to protecting the Torah by adding to Torah. I get it. The older brother is not perfect, and people who follow the older brother without any sort of filter is just not correct. But again, they are the older brother, no doubt about it. This is my older brother, and yeah, what they're doing is wrong. And the older brother doesn't have exactly the best track record when it comes to prophets, or interpreting those who are sent by God. They saw it, supposedly, they sawed Isaiah in half. So, they don't have a great track record, but still my older brother. And one day when the Messiah comes back, that's that whole parable the Messiah gave. The owner of the vineyard sent, representative after representative. And what did they do? They killed, or they beat, they mocked, they whipped. And when the owner of the vineyard sent his son, they killed the son. It's exactly what the older brother did. And so there's always been this animosity between the older brother and younger brother, who is represented by Joseph. So Judah, Joseph. Judah stood before the Pharaoh's representative, which was Joseph, and didn't even recognize him until Joseph told Judah who he was. There is so much prophecy in that. And it goes back to the parable of the prodigal son. What did the older brother do when the younger brother came home? He was not happy. He was not happy. And what you see here is the older brother not being happy with the younger brother showing himself, representing himself, and letting everyone know who he is. But again, this is my older brother. You see it also in the book of Isaiah. Let's go read the verse. Isaiah 11 is an amazing chapter. It's all about the Messiah coming back. But verse 13, the envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. And what are we seeing right now today in the Hebrew roots movement, the Messianic movement, whatever you want to call it, Torah observance, doesn't matter. It's all about Ephraim, a lot of Ephraim, envying Judah. Oh, I want to be like Judah so bad. And they do whatever Judah thinks. And then Judah vexes Ephraim. Like you see in this article right here, Judah is vexing Ephraim. Guys, this is not going to last forever. It'll be fixed. Don't worry. But see, this is prophesied to happen. The Messiah will come, okay, which Judah and Ephraim are both waiting for. They just have different opinions on who that is. But when the Messiah comes, he's going to take care of this problem. But don't forget, don't go to war with these people. This is your older brother. Okay, this is our older brother, and we should love him. And I had one rabbi tell me on Twitter, I've told this story before, tell me on Twitter that what I'm doing is worse than what the Nazis did by claiming Torah. And I said, brother, I know you think that, but whatever it is you think about me, I love you. And that totally threw him off his game. I told him that I love you. You're my brother, and you'll always be my brother, and I will always love you. And I will always come and try to stick up for you if someone else outside the family comes and tries to harm you. That's just the way I think we should look at this. It's just my own opinion, but that's how I look at it. Okay, moving on. Next story. Bob Iger, very difficult for Disney to work in Georgia if new abortion law is enacted. It says the company has previously filmed blockbuster movies in the state, including Black Panther and Avengers Endgame. Bob Iger said it would be very difficult. Oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry, Bob. How difficult is it? I know this must be difficult for you. For Disney to keep filming in Georgia if the state enacts a new abortion law. In an interview with Reuters, the CEO of the Walt Disney Company said he had doubts the company would continue production in Georgia if the controversial ban on abortion in the state comes into effect, primarily as the company's employees would be against it. Oh yes, I can't imagine going to that silly right-wing Georgia state, that red state where abortion is illegal, where people are not allowed to kill their children. I think many people who work for us will not want to work there, and we will have to heed their wishes in that regard. Right now, we are watching it very carefully, Iger told Reuters. The exec added that if a law does come into effect, he didn't see how it's practical for us to continue to shoot there. Yes, it's just not practical. You should go back. See, it boggles my mind how anyone could still be fans of Disney. I mean, seriously, I know they pull on your heartstrings as a child. They make great children's movies that make you just so excited for their films and for the characters that they represent. I get it. But what does the company really represent? Oh, Zach, you're just cordoning yourself off from the rest of the world. You're trying to be an isolationist. Is there no other way for you to entertain yourself in this world that Disney just has to be part of your life? I mean, seriously. I mean, can't you pick up a book? Oh, Zach, you're just so 18th century. Get with it. Get with the program. Start watching comic book movies like the rest of the world. You know, this is one of the ways I believe the Father wants his children to be set apart. Are you going to be entertained like the rest of the world is entertained? Is that what's going to define your entertainment in life? I mean, everyone throughout history had ways. I'm sure the disciples had ways to entertain themselves. I'm sure they had maybe some sort of game they played. You know, we play board games, things like what. There was something they used to entertain themselves. I highly doubt that they would have gone to the Roman Colosseum of the day, because that's how Romans entertained themselves. They had these types of, you know, entertainment spectacles around Jerusalem, because the Romans controlled Jerusalem. I highly, seriously doubt that the disciples went to some of these, you know, places of entertainment, because they knew who was behind it. They knew, guys, I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, and I still see people online who are fans of Disney and sing their praises and go to Disney parks, you know, and go to Disney World, go to Disneyland. Wouldn't catch me dead in one of those places. All right, moving on. Next article. Zimbabwean pastor Prophet Sham Hungwi claims anointed pens will help students pass exams. I saw this on Drudge this week. A local holy man urges parents the more they spend. Wait, but this is October 2015. Why did this get posted? Maybe I didn't see this on Drudge. Maybe it was on Facebook. All right, this is old news. Wait, this is a Trump sign. Oh, this is an old... I don't even know what this article is. It's old. We're moving on. All right. Sorry about that. I'll try to keep things relevant. This is May 23rd, 2019. And I did see this, I think, on Drudge. Mass sterilization. Kenyan doctors find anti-fertility agent in UN tetanus vaccine. In October 2014, the Conference of Catholic Bishops in Kenya released a statement regarding the tetanus vaccine program implemented under UN auspices. The issue was, folks, this is crazy. I mean, you have to pay attention to this. This is seriously important. The issue was subsequently addressed by Kenya's Catholic Doctors Association. Published below are the following text. A recent review article pertaining to the 2014 findings of Kenya's Catholic Doctors Association concerning the tetanus vaccine. No update is provided in this article with regard to Kenya. Okay, blah, blah, blah. It says... According to LifeSite News, November 2014, a Catholic publication, the Kenyan Catholic Doctors Association, is charging UNICEF and the World Health Organization with sterilizing millions of girls and women under cover of an anti-tetanus vaccination program sponsored by the Kenyan government. The Kenyan government denied... Folks, long story short of this is that they were putting an anti-fertility agent in the vaccines. And what this has been going on... It's been going on for a long time. It took a long time for this to finally reach the news, May 23rd, 2019. They have been putting an anti-fertility vaccine into injecting this into millions of kids because they don't want them reproducing. This is the whole... I talked about this as a news item on, I think, my Homestead channel. And I wanted to share it here because this is so important. This is part of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation strategy. They want to reduce the amount of people in the world. And my question is, how do you know they're not doing this in the United States? How do you know? Because all you know is what you read online. All you know is what you can read on the label of the vaccine because they give the ingredients. You don't know if they're sneaking us in there. They didn't know. They had to take this and test it. They had to take it and send it. Said the results. The Kenyan Doctors Association, however, saw evidence to the contrary and had 6 different samples of the tetanus vaccine from various locations around Kenya sent to an independent laboratory in South Africa. And only after they sent it to an independent laboratory did they find that, yeah, the HCG antigen was present. It wasn't on the packaging. Folks, this is why I think this is so important. And this is why I am going to be talking about... did I talk about this on my channel? I don't think I did. If I did, it bears talking about again. Maybe I did talk about this on New Tutorials channel before. This is why, folks. This is going to be such a huge issue coming forward. And this is why I think I'm completely 100% correct on the 144,000 being children, because the world is turning its guns on fertility. Something the Father said to do from the very beginning, go forth and multiply. And there's so much scriptural evidence that kids are going to play an important role in the last days. That's why the enemy is attacking kids so much. How do you know this isn't in the vaccines you're getting? And, this is one of the things I think is going to happen as we go on, is that people who refuse vaccines, we're going to eventually lose that battle. They're going to force you to take these vaccines, or you will not be able to buy and sell. You will not be able to function as easily in society. And I know the cat is out of the bag. There's so many people who are against vaccines today. The cat's out of the bag on that. We know that these things are dangerous, but the governments of the world are doubling down, and they're going to force their people to get these things. That's why I tell you, move to an area where you don't have to deal with these things. Move to an area where regulation and enforcement is harder to do. Get your kids out of the public schools. If you're in the public schools, enforcement's easier. If you're in the cities, enforcement's easier. Get out of the cities. And people think that I'm crazy for saying that. Call me an isolationist. I don't care. But I'm telling you, if you care about your families and you care about your future grandchildren and great-grandchildren, the generations that may come along that may see the coming of the Messiah. It may not be during our lifetime. We don't know. I hope it is. But you don't know. You should be setting up for success your family and future generations now, like the forefathers, like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did for theirs. And that's where I see this having to go, because we're in Egypt right now. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you're trying to prepare your children for one day being brought back to the promised land? Because hopefully that's where you're trying to focus your kids, understanding that the Messiah will return. And his whole purpose is to collect his bride and bring them into the land that was promised to them, to Jacob. The Father keeps his promises. You're not going to make it if you're out there living the way the world does in the world and getting the things the world says, doing the things the world says you must do. You may find that your children, your grandchildren are infertile, and your line is now cut off. Not my line. I don't want my kids to be that way. I want my children to be great. I want their lineage to be great. I want their kids to be followers of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And everything in the world right now is stacked against that. All right, we'll move on. I think that's it. That's all I want to talk about today. I had some news items, so I wanted to share those with you and just move on with my day. I got a bunch of other videos I'm working on for New to Torah and an American Homestead, so lots of stuff to do today. But I want to get that out to you because I haven't done I haven't done some of those news items. I just wanted to cover that. All right, we'll leave it at that. See you next time in the next video. Go home, read your Bible. Thanks.